Good evening and welcome to the Broadcasting Lounge. And we're not in Taranaki. Don't be fooled by that mountain. It's Taranaki's twin. We're at Fuji Raceway in Japan.
We're
So we
not at
got,
Bradford's new motor park they got going on there.
well, we'd probably be racing on grass if we were, because they haven't even started building that yet. So that would be a bit of a
Okay.
struggle. No, we're definitely in Japan at Fuji. That's Mount Fuji that we're looking at there. And yeah, we've got some GT3 cars and GTPs going around for the HPR series. You heard Leon's voice in the background a moment ago. He butted in out of order, and
Hey, yo.
Doug Bickley is also alongside us tonight. How's it going, guys?
I'm doing good, Shane, and I will welcome the intro that you so kindly put in front of me, and we'll do it accordingly as to how you've directed us to, rather than that weirdo sitting down there on the floor, Leon, who's gone a little bit crazy for some weird reason. You didn't get any voice grabs of him doing his microphone warm-ups just before, did you?
Sadly, I did not know. That would have been
I can do
quite
them. I can do
entertaining.
them for the people again if you like.
No,
Well,
that's
I don't know that we want some of those noises live on the stream, to be fair.
Okay.
I think,
Okay, that's
I think,
all right.
yeah, I think out of the few people that have tuned in so far, we don't need any of them tuning out just yet. So,
Sad faces.
well, the only sad faces at the moment are the ones that are sitting beside you.
Happy
Um,
days.
Actually, before we jump to this, we can have a quick look at this.
Oh, there we go.
So that's the track tonight, Fuji Raceway. I'm gonna chuck it on a different camera for you so that the clouds aren't making it quite so hard to read. There we go. So round 7 of the HPR series tonight, and we are at Fuji Speedway in Japan. 28 degrees air temperature, 56 humidity, and we're at an altitude of 584 meters above sea level on what is a very tricky but very fun circuit, and we should see some great racing tonight.
Yeah, the side by sides here are fantastic. Like the V8s here not long ago, that was the side by side racing was just amazing. So hopefully that means we're going to see the same here in the HPR series.
Well, we certainly will see some side-by-side action, because these GTP class cars are still obviously rocketing around at a higher rate of kilometrage over our GT3 counterparts. So
Wonderful English. I love it.
Yep. So at one point or another, we will see some lateral side-by-side battles, and hopefully none of them end up going vertical.
You would hope
Hopefully
not. So we
Hopefully not.
can now have a look at the results from qualifying, which wrapped up a moment ago. So we've got Stefan McCartan taking out pole position from Christian Hermansen. Aaron Goodrick and Michael Vanderhaas back there on the second row. Jack Hintz coming in 5th, Matt Gerard 6th, Kristen Jenkins 7th, Dan Turner 8th, and Wayne Hartnell rounds out the GTP field with Darren Lobb on pole for GT3s.
Of course.
And then rolling back to Quinn Wilson alongside him, then Blake Greenhall, Leith Swinney, Nico Cordia, Nick Mitchell, Sean McNamara, Chris Zalewski, Jason Bigby, Roger Forbert, and Shane McLeod. And in towards the rear of the field, we've got Nathan Gardner, Dylan Petch, Louis Robertson, Daniel Johnson, Adam Hughes, Paul Blomqvist coming off the back, and potentially Andrew Uden as well, although he is in a GTP, so that will put him to the rear of the GTP field if he starts the race. He is doing some, or he has been out during the warm-up, so he may well do some laps. And Thomas McCall also off the back of the GTP field by the look of it.
Yeah, it does appear like Andy Uden there, another Christchurch boy. Looks like he's packed his car in the trailer and he's gone home. Yeah, he doesn't appear to be in pit lane anymore. So, hey, see you later, mate.
He must have been absolutely devastated to find out that wasn't Mount Taranaki.
Yeah. I would
He,
be too.
he thought he'd come up
Well,
for Bathurst weekend already, but no, not quite.
not quite there. But yeah, quite a spectacular track that we're racing at here tonight, Fuji. I'm And we're looking forward to seeing how the boys managed to get through this 50-minute race session tonight.
Yeah, it is a 50-minute race, sprint race tonight. No compulsory pit stops, but we've limited their fuel. So more than likely they will need to, well, pretty much definite they will need to come in and get some fuel at some point. It would be a hell of a fuel save strategy to be able to make it through without stopping.
It is a
Yeah, so
pretty gnarly tow there, though. Maybe you could tuck in behind someone and just watch the fuel. Be pretty impressive. I'd be pretty happy to see it. But
if our money's on anyone, it'll be Blake Greenhall, fuel save Mace.
Yeah. Yep, he's a man with a plan. Right, no, rolling. Quick parade lap and away we go.
Yep.
Well, short parade lap anyway.
So
Yes, it's starting just before the chicane that we're not using, and thank God, I definitely much prefer this layout of the track without the chicane.
Yeah, that chicane is death, absolute death. Just when you're on the, like you're going through a really fast section, it just absolutely does your head in.
Yeah, absolutely. And even without the chicane, that fast right-hander presents its own challenges there. Certainly plenty of challenges that probably a much trickier but more fun corner without the chicane, I think, where you've got to try and cut the corner as much as you can to carry that momentum through, but it does unsettle the car a lot if you get too much of that curb, and that's in the V8 supercars that I'm talking about. In these things, it's going to be a real challenge to find that right balance of cutting the corner enough without completely unsettling these cars that like to run very close to the ground.
Yeah, you definitely found out how tricky that corner was in one of the races of the V8 supercars. I remember that. That was quite impressive. Rightio. Pace car's pulling in.
Yeah, Porsche safety car off to the inside, waiting for the green flag to pop up. Well, race start is on Stephen McCartan.
Let's see who goes. Line can't be far away. Oh.
Green, green, green.
We're away.
Here we go, we're away.
Stefan gets the early jump. It's going to be Christian Hermansen jumping in behind. And
He's
you can
gone
see the
early cover there over Aaron Goodrick.
GT3 cars sorting themselves in the background. Quinn's actually managed to get the jump on Darren Lobb, but Darren's on the inside down into turn 1, and they're all spreading out into turn 1.
Oh. And looks like everyone's got through turn 1 safely, so that's a massive feat achieved.
Sure is.
The next 49 minutes of racing.
Oh, that was someone very wide out of 100R there.
Oh, I can hear tyres, and we've got an early collision in the GT3 field.
Oh! So I'm seeing Quinn Wilson's name, Blake Greenhill going off track as well. Nick Mitchell, I think that's Nick rolling backwards down the track. Paul Blomqvist involved in that as well.
Oh.
I heard some early tyre squeal, and then it looked like there was just a wee touch between maybe Nick or one of the other MRX drivers and Blake. And when those guys rotated around, there was a few others obviously trying to dodge them. We're losing body parts in the process, but we'll get these get the cars settled and back into a routine of running forward, and we'll have a look back at some of those replays shortly.
Yeah, so we've got 3 people that have got meatballs already, so they'll be taking a trip through pit lane to see if they can get these cars fixed up. So we've got Blake Greenhall, Nick Mitchell and Thomas McCall. All 3 of those boys are going to be taking a trip through pit lane no matter what.
And you saw on the long shot those 3 GT3s making their way into pit lane. As we jump back to the front, it's Christian Hermansen currently leading from Stefan McCartan, so those guys swapped around at the start. Stefan, we know how quick he is. We saw how quick he was able to go after starting off the back last week at Interlagos, and I'm sure he will, when he feels like it, make pretty quick work of getting by Christian Hermansen.
Yeah, well, I mean, Christian is certainly not one to be underestimated as well, because they have had, I believe it was the second race that they competed in together. Christian actually won that race evening. Stefan has certainly managed to capitalise the majority of the wins in this his field so far. But it doesn't mean that Christian doesn't know what he's doing out there, and at the moment he's currently sitting P1.
Absolutely, and these guys have pulled out a nice gap over Aaron Goodrick back in third. They got 1.8 seconds over Aaron.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wonder if Stefan's just tucking in the toe and just hanging in there, or whether he's going to make the move here at 2 and 1. It's anyone's guess, isn't it?
It is, but as we've obviously said earlier, that there will probably be most likely a fuel stop to be had, and if he can stay sitting just in behind Christian nicely, he will be able to get quite a good wee tow around some of the faster sections of the track, which will mean he doesn't have to push his car as hard, and he'll be able to save a little bit of gas, and that could equate to a couple of seconds difference come the pit stop if they run the fuel down low enough. If Christian was a gambling man, he'd look at trying to work out his fuel numbers when the earliest opportunity he can come in to grab some fuel to get through to the end, and see if that's just enough to shake Stefan by going in earlier. But I'd say with him being well and truly tow hooked to the back of that car, I think any movement Christian makes towards the pit lane will be well and truly replicated and received. So I don't know, it could be a good battle towards the end. It'll be certainly one to keep an eye on.
Sure. Seems as though our main man Darren Lobb there, he seems to have pulled out a decently wee lead on Leith so far.
Yeah, you can see that. So just a 1.5 second gap currently from Darren to Leith. Leith has managed to make up 5 spots currently to put himself into spot number 2 or 11th there in the overall standing numbers. And Dylan Petch making a massive leap from the back of the field. He's come up 13 spots currently to get himself to sit in P3.
Yeah,
Well, he's up 10 spots within the class, up 13 overall, but I think that accounts for a couple of guys that didn't take the start as well.
Yes.
In GTP field.
And nice wee battle happening here between him and Sean Tapnamara. Dylan was well and truly on the previous lap, pushing Sean down the straightaway, and Sean's done enough just to be able to stick on that rear bumper, and was just a nice wee draft there where he was able to pull out and consider having a look. But Dylan said, not just yet, mate. Let's see if we can keep making our way forward and catch these guys just in front of us.
So Sean didn't get a huge amount of practice in tonight either, so credit to him fighting for the podium at the moment in GT3. He was off doing other things, looking at all these officials he was going to do, carburetor, carb, all these other things, and then he talked about doing an IMSA race, and I was like, well, if you're going to do that, you might as well just come and race HPR with us.
Because if you weren't aware, folks, the HPR series stands for High Performance Racing, and that is our twist on the IMSA IMSA class racing. And if you were to go and invest yourself into some IMSA class racing, you would find yourself racing in either GTP or GT3 class cars.
Indeed.
To be fair, they also have LMP2 to choose from, but we're just running the 2 classes.
Really had to shoot him down there, didn't you? Just had to shoot him down.
You tried to
No, just for giving our viewers at home credit, I wanted to make sure that we were providing the accurate information.
I think he just wanted to undermine you there, Doug. I feel like that was how that was going.
So Sean and Dylan have swapped positions a couple of times, so this is a really cool battle going on between these guys.
It is, but all it's doing is allowing Sean's most favourite competitor from the V8 series to close in onto the back of him here again. So Sean will be going, Dylan, let's get going, because I've got this Roger Forbert behind me in the Misfits entry car, and I don't like racing there.
Yeah, I was going to comment on Roger lurking in the background, and hence why I clicked on his name as you mentioned him.
Yeah.
So we're perfectly in tune, Doug.
No,
A couple of lurkers in the background there. It'd be nice to see Louis come up and get involved in this as well. Oops, Sean getting a wee bit squirrely there, but not too bad. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool to see Louis up there. It was P6 at the moment, so yeah, looking pretty squish at the moment there, Louis.
Yeah, Louis doing very well. Someone who I think sooner or later will probably get involved in these battles. He's a bit further back at the moment after starting off the bat, but Paul Blancos, we know how quick he is in a GT3 car, and he's already made his way up to 10 spots from his starting position, and he's been reeling Shane McLeod in over the last few laps. So I think before too long, he's probably going to make his way around Shane.
I think before too long is probably even an overstatement then.
Well, he wasn't. Oh, sorry, he wasn't wrong with his comment, though, was he?
No, definitely not.
Well, you know what though? There's a wee bit of damage on the front end of that Ferrari.
Of Paul, yes, I believe
Yeah.
he may have just got into a little bit of some avoidance challenges during that early carnage with GT3s on their start. But I was having a wee looky at the GTP field, seeing if there were some names and people changing around, and I just saw Matt Gerard lose the rear end of his car before coming up onto the front straight, so he's dropped down a couple of positions there. There's some data on that one, and I'm also seeing Nick Mitchell's name come up for some crash data as well, and he was obviously caught up in the earlier incident there, and it looks like he's gone and had a subsequent follow-up to that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just cars rotating with RCMs coming around on them at the wrong time, and the last corner seems to be the most common one. Yeah, there's a wee bit of data before of some lads just having some mares there.
Well, with Corey not being here, Cheryl's obviously taken the night off, but I've got her sister Bethel has messaged me with her weather updates. Certainly no rain forecast out there. It's beautifully sunny and hot over Japan at the moment. Some would say a little too hot. The outside temperature is a rather nice 28 degrees Celsius, but that sun at the moment is absolutely roasting in this lunchtime race. 47 degrees.
Oh.
So if we were wondering why some cars might be having a little bit of traction difficulty or difficulty facing in the normal forward direction, that could certainly be coming into play. So hopefully Bethel's updating all of our drivers currently on those conditions.
Thanks, Bethel.
We can see them making changes to how they approach getting through the rest of this race, or we may continue to see more carnage.
Alright, well, speaking of carnage, we can go back and have a look at what happened at the start of the race. So we've got, I don't know why I had it set to go to the onboard, but Daniel Johnson was the first person to have an issue, and oh yeah, so he's just got into the back of, I was going to call that as Bill, but I was like, I don't think Bill's in tonight, and he's not. So it's someone's stolen Bill's paint.
Stolen his car.
Anyway, following on from that, we did have.
Yes. There was.
Let's see if I can grab that again. So Paul Blomqvist, he had some contact. Well, so actually he went to the back again after already starting off the bat, and probably shows his comeback drive being even more impressive. So this is how Nick Mitchell got involved. Just taking avoiding action and sideswiping Blake Greenhall, and they both went hard into the tyres. I think that was a case of Nick having to make that reactionary move and just wasn't quite aware that Blake was alongside him, and just one of those unfortunate things, really. Oh, and then he's caught up again there.
I'm not too sure what that Ferrari's turned itself into, but starting to make itself into one of those exoskeleton cars. What they call it, the aerial atom.
Great car.
And one of the Misfits boys just rotating around in the background there behind our mate Sean there.
Oh, I think that was Roger actually.
Yeah, it'll be the
His
only
name slipped down the, and his name has slipped down the leaderboard as well.
I apologise, I thought we were still reviewing a replay from the race.
No,
So,
this was live. So I was going to go back and have a look at some of the other more recent replays, but because we just caught the end of that live, and as the data moves on me and I click on Paul Blomqvist passing Louis Robertson, this is Roger Forbert's moment. Oh yeah, just losing the rear under brakes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Louis did very well to avoid that. I was about to say that means another position for Louis there, but of course Paul just came up and just pulled that rug out from underneath. But no, good avoiding action for both of them actually. That's terrific. Mac is looking pretty good as well. For someone who wasn't going to race tonight, P4, look at you go.
Absolutely. So back on lap 6 as well, we had an issue for Matthew Giraffe.
Yes, saw that happening just behind Jack Hunt's here. Like he,
rear rotated around him.
Oh yeah, he's tried to throw it up on the inside, and those reducing radius, those reducing radius corners are quite tricky at the best of times, braking all the way into the apex there, and when you just load that front end up a little bit more, trying to turn a bit tighter, it's just looped around on him there. And you mentioned Nick Mitchell's subsequent moment after being caught up in that initial moment. Just
hot tire moment,
losing the rears under brakes into the hairpin.
Now, Shane, this is certainly not for myself because I keep up with everything that you say.
Here we go.
But if we had some fans at home who were tuning in and they heard those words that you just said of reducing radius turn, could you explain that in more simpler terms for some of our younger viewers, or perhaps some of those people who live on the west coast and drink funny water?
Without discriminating against any of our viewers, if there is anybody that was a bit too technical for, basically just means a corner that gets tighter as it goes on.
Thank you, Kane.
You're welcome, Doug.
Usually it's the opposite, isn't it? As they go on, they get a bit looser, but yeah, I guess that why it trips people up so much. Good to know.
There we go. We're keeping you educated on all forms of life here at SuperCars NZ via the Broadcasting Lounge, and we really do hope that you're enjoying tuning up this evening. Just remember, any complaints must be forwarded on to Sean.McNamara at
gmail.co.nz.
Don't send it there, that doesn't exist.
No, do. That's even more reason. See that there. Or you can private message him on Facebook. Either one. He stays up late thinking about complaints.
Yeah.
He needs them.
He enjoys receiving Snapchats as well because he likes people expressing with their hands when they talk.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can definitely do that. So Stefan still sitting there.
I've been watching that gap, and honestly, no word of a lie, I don't think it has extended out any greater than half a second, or roughly around by that 0.4 of a second, and then right down to 0.1 of a second gap. So like just pretty much kissing the LED tail lights going down the straightaways. But no, very very merrily happy sitting behind Christian there. Christian will go, okay, well, you're just going to sit there, I'll keep my attention focused forward, and you can do whatever you want to do, and because I know you're not going to do anything dumb.
Yeah.
Well, Christian's moved right over to break the toe. Stefan hasn't felt the need to follow him, so that would suggest he's not too worried about saving fuel. You'd think if he was keen to save fuel, he'd take every bit of draft he can get and use that opportunity to lift off the throttle a little bit.
Yeah.
Potentially, or he may have gratefully enjoyed having that opportunity to have a little bit of fresh air come gulping in through the front of the car to allow the engine temperature to stabilise and the brakes to have a chance to have a bit of fresh air go and run over them.
Oh yeah,
Good
that's
theory.
a fair call. Certainly, overheating your engines is a thing in iRacing, as is overheating brakes and tyres. So, could have been keen to get some cool air coming over the car and manage those temperatures a little bit, because he has been sitting very close to Christian Hermansen for well about 18 minutes now.
That's
I love that I can spin some yarns and you go and support it.
what we're here for. That's what mates are for, mate. That's what co-broadcasters are all about. If I draw the line at the Earth is flat, though. I'm not going to support you on that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I love you, Dougie, but anything else, that's fair game, mate.
Then
Always
again,
close here,
in iRacing, I think we've all experienced falling off the end of the earth.
Well, that's true. You had to put a silver lining on it. I like it. I do. Yep, there's an unbreakable barrier in the sky as well that just sends you back to the pits.
Absolutely.
That's their way of stopping you from getting up there and looking at the Earth.
Oh, Stefan just poking the nose out there down towards turn 2. Slots back in though. I noticed as well as these guys made their way around Blake Greenhill a couple of laps ago that Blake just stumbled wide a little bit at that slightly awkward right-hander that we talked about earlier, where you can bump over the curb and unsettle the car. Just looking at that and thinking about the fact that Blake was also involved in that earlier incident made me think about incident points. So have we got any updates on who's tracking where in terms of incident points?
We do. So Nathan Gardner, Nick Mitchell, Paul Blomqvist, top 3. Nathan Gardner with 13, Nick Mitchell 13, and Paul. We've just had a change there. Adam Hughes has just come up into our top 3 equal, and Paul and Adam both on 10. So behind him, Jason Begbie on 8. So yeah, those top 3: Nathan Gardner, Nick Mitchell, Adam Hughes, and Paul, all well on their way to 17 incident points. But I mean, if Paul can keep his nose clean, then he'll be fine. But it also looks like Nick Mitchell, he's just picked himself up a penalty, possibly speeding into pit lane. Looks like he's got a black flag there, and he's just coming to the pit. So I would say he was probably going a wee bit fast when he crossed the line. I'll just double check that. Yeah, he was well over. He was about 110 kilometres crossing the line.
So he's sitting up on the jacks getting some tyres at the moment, and he's going to have to sit there for another 40 seconds longer than what he planned to.
Yep, that's a bummer. That's a bummer.
Jack Hintz and Matthew Gerard having a nice little battle down the front straight here into turn 1.
Yep, they have been. They've been having a pretty good, nice, close battle throughout the majority of the eve. Matt's still sitting there in his qualifying position, just unlucky for Jack. He's a couple of spots down on where he started. So I don't think, or I remember correctly, I don't think this is a track that he enjoys too much, or maybe he said it's a track that he enjoys only when it rains. It's one of those two.
Yeah, well, considering we've seen him on the podium a number of times this season and last, and he's probably struggling a little bit down there in 7th at the moment. It's clearly not one of his better tracks in terms of performance. So I'm sure he'll be just looking to cut clean laps and see if he can capitalise on some other people having dramas late in the race and see if he can move up that way.
Correct. Yeah, I think with obviously he's seen a few cars rotate around him as well. His focus will shift on just circulating clean laps and hoping that someone will probably make themselves unstuck by pushing a little bit too hard with the hot tyres and go off again. We don't often wish ill things upon our mates, but certainly while you're in the heat of a battle racing, friends soon become enemy.
Well, it makes good viewing too, doesn't it?
I have solved the mystery on who stole Bill's car. Jason Bigby.
Ah, Jason.
And he's in the heat of a little battle with Nathan Gardner just ahead, and Roger Forbert just behind. Roger's looking to recover from the little half spin that he had earlier.
Yeah,
So, do you think he went and stole Bill's car and got it shipped here, or they shipped it here and Bill just left his keys in it and he's gone, no, I'm taking that, mate.
Well, Bill's obviously had other commitments come up. I think word on the street is that he had put the car on the plane, and it turned up here, and I think Jason was just snooping around the pits and saw this BMW sitting around that nobody was using, and went, you know what, I wouldn't mind just spinning that.
Okay. It's a lot of effort.
Yeah, I mean, but as most of us have had, those occasions where we've had great battles alongside Bill, if there was any opportunity to go and work out why his car seems to perform the way that it performs, and how that it's been customised to move wider than every other car out there on the track.
Get case in point right there.
Exactly. Give it a wide berth there, Wayne, you're going to need it.
Got those Bluetooth bumper bars though.
That's it. No, looking good.
So Thomas McCall has had a moment a few laps ago, back on lap 12. So this is down into turn 1.
Oh,
Just
wow.
losing the rear. That was a very aggressive rear lock,
That
wasn't
was
it?
so violent. That must have been like a real downshift there. That was brutal.
That was just like he ripped the handbrake up, and it's a strange one because you normally think of these cars as having that downshift protection. You can't really load the rear axle up like that, but apparently he managed to. And Adam Hughes, lap 13, having a moment in the Mustang here.
Yeah.
Just similar, very similar to what Roger Forbert did earlier on, just rear locking into that left-hander and going around on him. Managed to do a nice little flick spin on the grass to get back going again.
Up.
A little bit of hot information off the press. Aaron Goodrick currently coming into the pits in the GTP class. First car of the GTP field to make a pit stop. So interesting to see how long he sits there for, what type of number he puts in, and how far away the others may be from following suit. So
It looks like he's just going bang on halfway. Or thereabouts.
So
and
he's back up.
Aaron's MRX teammate in the GT3, Shane McLeod, has just taken his pit stop as well.
Yeah, but interesting there. So Aaron was in there for a solid 20 seconds, nearly about 20 and a half seconds, versus Shane's 14 and a half second stop there. So a big difference on the two classes. Obviously, GTPs are circulating much quicker and probably therefore burning through a lot more fuel. They do have very separate fuel capacity numbers that they're running as well. So the GT3s are running a 50% fuel load and the GTPs at 65.
Although I think that potentially actually brings them quite close to the volume of fuel that they're able to get into their tank, just because at full capacity the GTPs do have quite a bit smaller tank than the GT3s. So I think those limitations actually level it out a bit more.
Meaning that they should, if they're only going to stop once, should have to stop once, or if the race is longer and they both would be required to stop twice, that they would be able to make both cars stop twice. So
Correct.
We've followed some of the restrictions and guidelines from the iRacing IMSA series and dragged it across to our very own HPR.
Oh, is Paul going to make a move here, is he?
No, he's going to wait for the other car to move in front of him because he's got these flashing lights happening, you see.
Ah, I see.
That's the button that needs to pull over and let you go by.
That makes sense.
Dan Turner and Michael van der Haas have both been through for GTP fuel stoppages as well. Those guys just a little bit more on the taking a little bit longer in the pits than what we saw our mate Aaron do so far. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see over the next couple what happens. Those guys at the front of the GTP class, they've made a whopper of a dent in the next cars behind them. So these two circulating around the track have generated a 30-second gap.
Unreal.
From behind them to what's the third place car in the GTP class, which is still it's Matt Gerard there at the moment.
And they're actually putting a lap on one of their fellow GTP runners.
Was that someone flipping in the pits, was it? Oh no, he's just breaking the toe. Thought he was sneaking into the pits, but Stefan was going for the toe there though, wasn't he?
Trying to work out who that was that they just put a lap on. Anyway,
Thomas
McCall. He's so he's obviously had a drama. He's running 17th overall, so in amongst the GT3 runners.
So Tom has had a couple of pit stops.
I think he jumped pits after lap 1 incident. I believe he was in a wall. Big way.
And his second pit stop there lasted a minute and 5 seconds. So he's certainly out of sequence from where the rest of the field is. We've got
sticking it out though. Good on him.
Jack Hintz and Rodolph Jenkins come in for their pit stops now as well, just rolling down pit lane as our class leaders bring themselves round onto the front straight. No, I lie, sorry, nearly around the last corner onto the front straight. We should just be seeing them in the very back corner of the screen there now. There we go. So this will be interesting to see actually how far behind these boys are from them.
I'm very interested to see Stefan's throttle position there.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, Christian's gone deep, very deep.
Made the decision for him.
Yeah, absolutely opened the door for Stefan to walk on through.
Wow, and so this will be very interesting now what happens over the next lap or two. So previous laps, obviously they've been neck and neck. Stefan's time was obviously just behind Christian's. Sorry, in position was just behind him, but his overall lap time was 0.04 of a second quicker. So a 1:26.74 versus a 26.78. Now Stefan will probably be going, okay, I'm in the lead, he's not in my draft, he's about 2 seconds behind. Shall I mash pedal and try to accentuate that gap? Or has he been actually driving to what's his near maximum anyway and he hasn't got that much more to give?
Yeah, I'm interested to see. It'll definitely be a telltale over the next 2 laps. So we're at 2 seconds gap now. Well and truly, I think the draft here is about 2 seconds.
So we'll see if we can pick out where the mistake came for Christian, if it'll play in. We'll jump on board.
You may be able to find it somewhere around Jenkins leaving.
Well, I've found it because I got Stefan McCartan passing Christian Hermansen. And I was trying to listen in. Well, I was trying to listen in. Looks like just too late on the brakes. Not locking up. I guess traction can. I guess ABS taking care of that.
Thanks, ABS.
absolutely. The GTP cars, while they don't have traction control, they do have ABS available, and you can control how much that kicks in. So I would say he was at the point where, had he not had ABS available, that would have been locking up on the fronts quite heavily, and that just took care of that, saved the tyres, allowed him to just sail a little bit wide, and allowed Stefan to take the lead.
I thought it was the other way around, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Once back in 1997. I've never lived it down.
Right, so but my question has more or less been answered now that Stefan's been able to go through and do another clean lap anyway.
1.2 seconds up in the same place before.
Correct, yes. That gap now is it was just over 3.2 seconds difference, but as far as lap times go, Stefan's previous lap was a 125.7 versus Christian's 126.8.
Worth noting as well that 126.8 from Christian was the one where he sailed wide at turn 1. In terms of best laps, Stefan not too far off it on that last occasion. His best lap was a 25.5, he was just under 25.7. But Christian's also been able to do a 25.5 as his best lap time, just 0.02 slower compared to Stefan. So once he settles down and gets over that mistake, we may see him able to match Stefan's time, maybe try and see if he can reel him in a little bit, but certainly stretching out to 5 seconds now as he coming into the pits. Looks like he is.
Back to speed.
Looks like he was nicely down to speed, and looks like Christian has followed him in. Christian might have been going a little bit quicker through the cones there.
I'll have a wee look. He was crossing the line at 85 kilometres an hour, but no.
I've got Christian Hermansen showing a black flag.
He does have a black flag.
Christian will have to stop and hold in his box for an extra 40 seconds after his pit stop's done. That is going to kill any chance he had of getting back at Stefan McCartan. So, unfortunately, the race is absolutely decided in a couple of very small late braking mistakes from Christian Hermansen there.
Gutter. That is just absolutely the pits.
Yes, it is the pits. Following those pit lane rules, will also have you in the pits.
That may well bring Matthew Gerard back into the Matthew Gerard just coming up onto the last turn now. That could bring him back into the fight. Christian still stopped.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's
50 seconds there. So Aaron Goodrick, Dan Turner, Michael van der Haas all gone by him now. As we see the 1 minute time come up that he is mixing there, and 101.8, and he is now underway. Matt Gerard going by as well on exit, and I think that'll only leave Jack Hunt's behind him by approximately 2 or 3 seconds.
righty.
Yeah, from Christian. So yeah, when you think you might be able to capitalise and close that margin down from your nearest competition, coming into pit lanes and maybe coming a little bit slower, and you try and be gamble that and coming just a little bit quicker because the short.
That was a bit rough.
It was a bit rough.
And there was actually right off Jenkins, and he was very quick on the radio to apologise to.
It was very fast.
To Chris Zaleski there, he jumped on that straight away, so I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's what we like to see. Mistakes happen. Good to see Christian owning that.
Yep, absolutely. If you cock up, you just apologise, move on, off of it.
That's it. Wonder if you could quickly go and check in on Louis Robinson for us there.
I can do that.
Cool. Give us a nice close-up angle this car, maybe a TV3 camera. There we go. We love our yellow and blacks out there, and it'd be very unfortunate if we didn't take the time to thank you for being on board as our weekly sponsor. So thank you to Stefan at Spin Blacks there for getting him behind our series and looking after us for another week's sponsorship there. Also Stefan Sim Blacks looking after some of our other races throughout the week as well. So we greatly appreciate that, and we certainly hope that anyone who goes along and gets in contact with them about sim related equipment comes and joins us and have some fun like he does along with the rest of his crew running the Sim Blacks cars. So.
Yeah, well, hopefully he's going to be sorting me out very soon when I purchase the whole sim gear. So if you're listening, Stefan, look after me, buddy.
No, don't look after him. Take advantage of him. He's got a big payout coming up.
Well, hope so. Take advantage, baby.
I thought if you were going to be taken advantage of, you may go and have a chat to the boys over with the yellow, orangey, purpley coloured cars and go and set yourself up with one of those motion rigs that we've been having so much fun on from racing sims there by ex-golf here in Christchurch.
Yeah, I'm just not the greatest fan of motion, hey? Like, I like it for the immersion side of things, but it's a lot to think about. It's awfully distracting.
I'm sure you could tune it a bit more to your ability. I was having a great big chat with Dan Nolan, meeting him for the first time the other day, and yes, we did both allude to the fact that the pitch moving forward and back was quite dramatic, but we
was pretty aggressive.
Felt that the left and right motion was pretty accurate to what you'd feel going around in a car. So you could probably tune some of that down a little bit, so it wasn't as aggressive.
Yeah, it definitely felt just that pitching under brakes. Yeah, it was a lot. Like, it damn near launch you out of your seat if you weren't. If I wasn't any lighter man, I probably would have been launched through the screen. But thankfully, I've got a bit of insulation. So
I was going to say, those Recaros were certainly doing a great job of hugging this plus-size model of a man in there. But yeah, when you dive on the brakes, coming down a hill in a braking zone as well, and you've already got the downward angle on the screen, making you realise you're going down the hill, and then that seat getting thrown up into the air as you're going down, you feel like you're coming over the top of a dropping roller coaster, to be fair.
yeah, well, especially that particular turn at Phillip Island,
Yes.
you definitely feel like you may well get thrown out of the vehicle.
Shane would know the one we're talking about. It's about the fourth to last corner when you come up the top of the hill, then it drops down into the braking zone before it turns to the right.
Looky Heights.
There we go.
That's it.
Come on, even Sean knows what that corner's called. Come on.
Yeah, nah.
Is that because of all the amounts of drama and complaints that he's had in that corner in the past?
Yeah, most likely.
Speaking of Sean, how's he getting on as far as position in the field?
Yeah, not looking too bad. He's in 5th position for the GT3s.
Good stuff for a guy who wasn't going to even turn up to race, eh?
This is a nice wee battle between Matthew Gerard and Christian Hermansen. Christian trying to recover from his penalty.
I think
And he's gonna
Matthew
pull
just
out.
went on the radio just now and said go inside and go right, and he was letting him have it. So I think Matthew probably just doing a bit of damage control as well there, just saying, no, I'm not. Yeah, you're clearly faster than me. I might just let you go and tuck into the toe and see if we can stick with you. But it looks like that gap was opening up already. Just about a second there for a moment, for a brief fleeting moment.
So Thomas McCall will be pleased. He's just made his way around Darren Lobb to clear all of the GT3 runners after his troubles earlier in the race. So
Yep, he'll be
he is
stoked.
now running 10th overall as well as 10th in class.
I love that.
Nice wee battle going on here.
Oh, that looked closer from where we were.
Shane McLeod, Daniel Johnson and Blake Greenhill, so a couple of Corvettes and some German thing.
Das sprechen Sie Deutsch? No? Okay.
Nice is pretty Dutchies.
No.
Oh, Blake having a big dive there and pointed off. That was a nice
boy.
move.
That was a really nice move.
Just absolutely committed under brakes and got down there nice and cleanly. Job done. So he's eyeing up Shane McLeod now in the MRX Corvette ahead of him. He'll be hoping once they get around to the front straight that the sleek lines of the Corvette can push an up air up over that big boxy BMW.
Big sail. Here we go.
I imagine his move will be matched. You can see them both walking across to that side of the track. Shane McLeod pulling out of that one. If he's clever enough on it, he'll jump on the brakes a little bit earlier, let Blake get down there and try and early turn in down underneath.
Gave it a shot. Looks like Blake's pulled it off though. Well done, Balaki. Balake.
Shane had half a look at showing the nose down into turn 2, but that's really a spot where if you're going to think about a move there, you need the overlap before you get to the braking zone. Not really a corner where you want to try and throw it down the inside under brakes.
No. Yeah. There's a whole two sides of corners that don't really appreciate that too much, and if you're not battling the corner, then you're obviously battling the car. And, sometimes that's the thing you find somewhere about the middle, and that doesn't end very well for either party member.
What can you do? You can type in someone's name into this here, can't you? Into
Can. Just at the very bottom one, I saw grey boxes there, mate.
Oh yes.
So Jack Ince has got Christian Jenkins closing in behind him now.
There we go. The man who has the old throttle controllers right off sitting behind Christian Jenkins.
We're going to see a move. Turn 1, surely. Tuck him behind here, get a nice exit from here, and then stay wide, cut it in, get a mean drive off there like that.
Oh, and Jack's gone quite wide as well. It was very high, very early in the corner, so that's definitely given Christian a much nicer exit, and he's going to tuck into that draft as well.
Well, it looks like Jack's got a faster straight line car though. Even with a tow, he struggled to get anywhere there.
Yeah, well, Jack in the Cadillac, Christian in the Acura. Would have thought that the Honda engine would be given a bit more of a power mode in Japan, but I guess not.
Yeah. He's got all the secret unicorns.
Oh. Now, what did happen to Louis? I can't see any. I can't see any data on him having any accidents, or Louis went into the pits, Louis left the pits. Oh, two pit stops. Why has he had to do 2 pit stops?
Showing the one, Louis.
Yeah, I'm only seeing one on my end.
Yeah. Louis entered pit lane at
22
31.14.
seconds.
Louis left pit lane 31.48, and then Louis entered pit lane at 33.23.
Oh,
What happened there?
So I believe the data shows them entering obviously the area of the overall for the pits, and also calculate the being in the pits when you cross over the start finish line as well.
Okay. Oh, definitely, yeah.
And that or thereby their pit box, rather than the pit lane entry. Is that what I was saying?
Strange.
but Jack's actually just been able to pull out a little bit of a margin over Christian on this lap as well. Daniel Johnston closing in on Shane McLeod.
Right, so Louis took a tour of the pit lane. Not for incident points. I don't know why he took a tour of the pit lane, but he went through. Oh, he must have missed his pit box because it's quite close to the start of the...
Oh,
Yeah. That'll gut him. Yeah, and then he's gone in and... Yeah, that's what's happened. He's entered pit lane, left pit lane, and then entered pit lane, entered pits, then pits, etc, etc. So yeah, he hasn't taken a second stop, but he's gone through pit lane twice. He'll be gutted because he was looking pretty swish.
Yeah.
still strange that Doug and I have seen only one stop on our data for Louis though, because that should be based on how many times he's come into the pits. Anyway.
No, I guess not. Yeah, I guess not.
Stefan's just going to get over the line before time ticks down, so this will be the final lap for him now.
Like 47 seconds between him and the next car.
That's insane. Meanwhile, Shane McLeod continuing to have a nice little battle with Daniel Johnston. And potentially we may even see Stefan get to these guys on this lap and put them a lap down, so this may be the final lap for these guys as well.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite likely, isn't it? Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's not this one, but the next GTP in line there is our race leader Stefan McCartan, so he's going to make his way around them. So if Shane wants this position, he needs to do it now. And it doesn't look like he's close enough to... Yeah, but although Daniel's just run wide, we'll jump to Stefan McCartan. We'll see if we might be able to get a nice camera angle that'll catch everybody coming through. Stefan McCartan is going to get P1.
Well done, Stefan.
And then Shane McLeod pulls out. He's just not quite going to get there. What was it? 0.12 of a second between Daniel Johnston and Shane McLeod.
Rocky, that was close. Yeah, he's just coming over comms there saying, well done, good race.
Darren Lobb takes the win in GT3. Well done, Darren.
Yeah, once again.
Daniel Turner, Michael Vanderhaas not too far behind him, but as they come down the front straight, that's going to be pretty well sewn up for Dan, P2 in GTP. Michael Vanderhaas taking the podium there.
Yeah.
And Paul Blomqvist coming home second in GT3. And Leith Swinney not too far behind, although I think... no, he was on the same lap, so Leith grabbing the podium, and yeah, good drive from Paul actually off the back to come home in P2.
Yeah, absolutely. Even with some dramas as well. He went round a couple of times, couple couple of bumpies with a few people there, and still managed to pull out P2. So well done.
No, it was a great race. We said it from the beginning. It was going to be an interesting 50 minutes, and I think we saw just enough of people getting put under a wee bit of strain and stress with the increasing temperature of the track there.
Yep.
But the others who were able to get their head around it or find just a slightly different way of racing have capitalised and made their way up into what would be considered some very good, respectable finishing positions, and certainly won't be taking anything away from those guys who have done well enough to get themselves onto the podium for tonight.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely. So Louis Robinson driving it back to the pits there.
For the third time. I bet he knows where his pit box is now.
Well, he certainly parked it there. So still managing to come home P13, which is a respectable result considering the issues he's had tonight. So credit to him.
Yeah, for sure.
Couple of guys out there doing some skids.
That's what we like to see.
Somebody's blowing their engine as well.
Again, also like to see it.
We always like seeing a bit of celebratory damage.
Oh yeah. Yep. SVG approves this message.
Very much so. He's been able to find a very cool way of celebrating, and Burnout King is a nickname that would not be too far off the truth for him.
I didn't quite pick up what happened to Nico in that race. Down 8 positions. We're so used to seeing him on or around the podium, and I had a good chat with him last week after yet another podium about how he's been focusing on the GT3 and how much he's enjoying it and how pleased he is to have been going so well. But tonight's obviously been a bit of an off night for him down there in 15th.
Yeah, I'm seeing some data for a crash. Yeah, he had a big loop, but doesn't look like it'll be enough to ride his race off.
No.
Yeah, I can't see anything too major. 2 pit stops. Yeah, 2 pit stops. Wonder why that's happened.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing 2 as well.
Maybe some damage early on in the race. Maybe something happened there. But
Oh,
yeah,
did he get caught up in that bust up at the start maybe?
I don't think so. I can't see any data for that. But I'll just go back and have a quick look-see. Yes, he did. Yep, he did get caught up, but for some reason
Okay.
data didn't pick up on it. But yeah, he was coming round and he got collected by Paul. So Nick collected Paul, Nick collected Blake, and then Paul collected Nico.
Right.
And yeah, I would say he just and then he got hit by Dylan Petch as well. Yeah, so that would have done that.
Do you have a
So,
rough timestamp you might be able to give me for that?
Yep, 4 minutes and 30 odd seconds.
Alright, let's see.
Same incident, yeah, at the start there.
I was hoping I might have something that would chuck me directly on Nico, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So
Not Paul crashing, Paul or Nick crashing.
I should be able to find that and then jump on Nico straight away. Make sure I'm on a decent camera as well, not an in-car, because I know I did go to an in-car in a previous replay. Alright, so let's
Sorry,
try
my
this.
mistake. 3 minutes, 30 seconds, but yep.
This should be it anyway. Might need to play manually on that for some reason. Alright, so we can see Nico on the inside there. Oh, yeah.
And then he comes across Dylan Wano.
Oh.
Dylan? Yeah, I think it was Dylan Petch that got him.
Oh, yeah, and I was going to say it looked like he got away without too much damage, but you can see it just crabbing away from the scene of the accident there. So, yeah, I think there would have been one of those meatball flags, and that's where things went wrong for Nico, unfortunately.
Yeah, bugger, mate. Not an ideal night, but Hey, we got to the root cause of the accident. Thank goodness for data, eh? Oh, I love having data.
Absolutely.
We love data. No,
Alright,
very
well,
good.
nobody in the waiting room as yet, so we can go and have a look at some results. Stefan McCartan taking it out. An absolutely impressive drive tonight. He drove just behind Christian Hermansen for about half the race, and then a couple of mistakes from Christian allowed Stefan to be home clear. Dan Turner coming home second, Michael van der Haas rounding out the podium for GTP. Christian Hermansen just coming home, recovering to fourth there, so not a bad recovery drive for him in the end.
No, not at all.
And then Matthew Gerard fifth, Aaron Goodrick sixth, Jack Hintz seventh, Christian Jenkins 8th, Wayne Hartnell 9th, and Thomas McCole in 10th. He rounded out the GTP field as well. And then we can roll back to Darren Lobb, our GT3 winner, from Paul Blomqvist, and Leith Swinney rounding out the podium in GT3. Sean McNamara, sorry, Dylan Petch just off the podium in 4th, Sean McNamara 5th, Roger Forbert 6th, Jason Bigby 7th, Nathan Gardner 8th, Blake Greenhill 9th, and then Daniel Johnston rounding out the top 10 for GT3. And then rolling down to Shane McCrowd, Chris Zalewski, Louis Robertson, Quinn Wilson, Nico Cordia, Adam Hughes, Nick Mitchell, and Andrew Uden didn't start the race, so I'm assuming Steve Arthur also didn't start the race as he's listed behind Andrew there.
Correct. No, very, very well done to all our drivers. Excellent, excellent driving. Good to see.
There's still nobody in the waiting room. None of our podium guys want to talk to us tonight, so
I did see a comment from Stefan on the YouTube. It's there. He was just saying that he can't make the interview, unfortunately. So
No, all good, but well done to him for his great racing tonight.
I'm sure.
absolutely. So big thanks to MRP for sponsoring the series, Simblacks for jumping on as our weekly sponsor this week.
Yep.
And of course Napa, our major sponsor of the Broadcasting Lounge.
Whoop, whoop.
Cheers Leon and Doug for sitting alongside me tonight and keeping me company, and cheers to everybody at home for joining us tonight. We will see you on Tuesday for some V8 racing at Imola before we're heading off somewhere else. I'm not quite sure where for HPR series again on Thursday. Catch you then.
Cheers, mate. Thanks very
My
much.
God, are you still talking?
Yes, Doug, I am still talking, and now that I've muted Discord so that nobody can hear you, I can get the last word. See you later.